Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be. Welcome back to my channel, my lovelies. If you've never been here before, thank you so much for clicking on my video. I am so happy you found me. I do so hope that you will like and subscribe before you leave. Become part of the Mama family. Mama's got your back, at least where makeup's concerned, and definitely when that makeup is cheap. Guys, it is True Love Tuesday. I love True Love Tuesday. I love sitting here and talking about a really gorgeous love story and just playing with some makeup with you guys. We're going to be doing this eye look today. We're going to be using the Juvias Place Olori 3 palette. I picked this up, I want to say around Black Friday. I just did the Juvias Place unboxing. I picked up a couple of different palettes, but I knew from the moment I opened this palette that we were going to do some really amazing, gorgeous kind of looks with it, and I was so right. The color story in here is just, it is so incredibly simple and easy and wearable, but also so fun and so beautiful. I do believe that it is a color lover's neutral palette. I love that it's a 6-pan. It makes it super easy to use and just kind of process. And I love the look that we came up with today. So we're going to be using this, we're going to be doing this, and we're going to be talking about the first couple of science. We're going to be talking about Madame Curie and Pierre. It is going to be so much fun. She truly was a remarkable woman. Very important to the advancement of women in sciences across the board. Truly just one of a kind, a real trailblazer as well. Just really fantastic women. So we're going to share their love story today. Guys, I hope that you will get a big old cup of hot coffee, a tall glass of ice cold sweet tea, and I hope that you have just a few moments to sit back, relax, and hang out with me for a little while. If you have this palette, I hope that you will get it out and do your makeup with me. If you guys do, let me know in the comments below. I love to know what you guys do while you watch my videos. If I'm just in the background while you're washing dishes or folding laundry, that's how I watch my YouTube 90% of the time. It's on in the background and I'm listening to it while I'm doing other things. Or if you're sitting here listening to the story while you do your own makeup, I would love to know. So, I already have my eyeshadow primer on. I am using the Milani eyeshadow primer. Guys, this stuff is so good, but it's almost gone. There is something about opening a new tube of eyeshadow primer that just does it for me. I think it's because I use it from the very first drop to the very last, and it's like I know without a doubt that I'm going to go through it. I don't know. It's like a point of pride for me. I don't know. I went through another tube of eyeshadow primer. I don't know, but we're almost done. I am bound and determined to go into the new year with new makeup, so I am very much focusing on using up half-empty bottles of concealer, things like that, so I can just get done with it. So when the new year rolls around, I can bring in some new makeup with it. Very excited. Guys, I hope that before we even get into the video, I know that you're going to be seeing this after Christmas. I hope that you had the most beautiful, amazing, magnificently magical Christmas. I hope that you guys got everything that you asked for. And if you guys are anything like me, and I know for a fact that I don't have nothing under that tree out there for me. So I hope that you took the time and pampered yourself just a little bit. I hope that you bought yourself at least one special thing. I placed an order with Jeffree Star Cosmetics when he was having his 12 days of Christmas sale. So that will be coming very shortly. I cannot wait to share that with you guys. Jeffree Star Cosmetics, I love the aesthetic. You know, he might be, he is him, but the makeup is good. The makeup is good, so I'm excited to get everything that I ordered. I cannot wait to share it with you guys. But make sure that you guys did something special for yourselves, because as important as everybody else's Christmas is, your Christmas is important too. And if nobody else will do it for you, you do it for yourself. You know what I mean? So diving right into today's video. Marie and Pierre Curie. Now, this was a marriage of true minds. If you guys see me looking over here, it's because this is where my little notes are. Where my pad of notes is. So my reference sheet, so I don't sit here and end up just lying to you. They came together through their shared love of science and research, and they spent their entire marriage working side by side, sharing groundbreaking discoveries with the world, and even a Nobel Prize. Now, we're going to get into the whole Nobel Prize thing here in just a minute, because it is truly astounding. but really, I mean, super, super intelligent people. So Miss Marie, she was born in Poland. She was a Polish citizen, and she was born, and her family had fallen on hard times, but she was a born scientist, and an innate sense of just a very sharp wit, very curious, just a true born scientist, right? And they always knew that she was going to have to go to school, but she would want to go to school, and that this was what she was supposed to do with her life, right? She had a really, really difficult time getting into school and paying for things, but she made it happen. She made it work. And in 1891, she moved to Paris, France. And she moved to Paris to attend Sorbonne University. This is where she was introduced to Pierre. But the only way, because again, this is what, 1891, right? So this is, women were just not scientists, right? Women were supposed to be homemakers and childbearers. Women were not scientists. They were not doctors. It just wasn't a thing. So she really, really had to fight to get into this university. She had to fight every step of the way over her entire career. That's one of the reasons she is such a true trailblazer. But she fought, she got into Sorbonne, but she couldn't have gotten into Sorbonne without the help of a man named Count Joseph. Now, he has a last name I cannot. There's no way in the world that I'm going to be able to pronounce it, so we're going to call him Count Joseph. But he was so instrumental into her even just being able to get her foot into the door of the scientific community. He actually was her sponsor and her mentor. And when she had, how am I trying to say this? He invited her to Paris. He helped her with the admissions process at Sorbonne. And if not for his sponsorship and if not for his letter of recommendation, she wouldn't have been accepted to the university in the first place. So when she does get accepted to Sorbonne, he actually opens his home to her and allows her to stay with him while she's attending university. And during this time, he introduces her to Pierre. And of course, this is where the love story begins. And as much as she loved Pierre, and I truly believe that she did love Pierre, I believe that her real, true, undying love was for science. She was a scientist at heart. She really devoted her entire life to it. So she was introduced to Pierre by Count Joseph. And upon meeting him, she recalled, "As I entered the room, Pierre was standing in the recess of a French window opening on a balcony. He seemed to me very young, though he was at the time 35. And I believe Pierre was just a bit older than Marie. And she says, "I was struck by the open expression of his face and by the slightest suggestion of detachment in his whole attitude. His speech, slow and deliberate, his simplicity and his smile, at once youthful and grave, inspired confidence." So I think the thing that she is, the immediate feelings, right, that she's getting from Pierre is that he's there is a word, the only thing that keeps popping into my brain is he was very, there was a bit of a duality to him, right? Because on one hand, you've got this young, youthful, curious kind of man-child, right? But then on the other, you have this seasoned, wizened, older gentleman. And I think that really, really appealed to her. The youthfulness stemmed from his curiosity and his willingness to experiment and explore. But then you have this man who's just a little bit older, maybe knows his ropes, maybe knows the scientific ropes just a little bit more than she does. And not only can he be a partner, but he can be a mentor to her as well. So she's instantly curious. I don't want to say infatuated or attracted, but she is. She's attracted to his whole aura. She's attracted to his vibe, right? And it's an instant thing. Okay, yeah. So I'm making sure I didn't miss anything. and they instantly strike up a conversation. They instantly are, and Joseph feels the same thing. He's like, who is this woman? And by this point, everybody is really talking about the promising young student, right, Marie. And at this point, I believe Pierre has already made a little bit of a name for himself in the scientific community. So you've got two very promising young scientists, and they're just kind of like, it just kind of was right? So they get to talking. They begin dating, and within a year, Pierre, he realizes that he's got something special here. Pierre realizes that he's got to lock this one down. Can't let her get away. She truly is something very, very special. So he proposes. And Marie, I told you her first love was science. And she declined. She declined because her plan had been to return home to Poland and work there, to continue her studies and scientific work in Poland. But that was impossible. She was denied a place at Krakow University because, again, she was a female. And again, at this time, females just were not allowed. It was not a thing. You weren't men, period. We're not going to allow a woman to infiltrate the boys' club that was the scientific community at this point in time. And you know, she is fighting tooth and nail to even get her foot in the door, and she just keeps getting turned down and you know, just kind of beaten down at every point, but she never gave up. And at this point, Pierre kind of jumps on it, right? So she's just been denied her dream. Her plan has just been shattered. She is no longer able to return back to her home country and study her craft there because they're not going to allow her to. So Pierre convinces her to stay in Paris. Pierre convinced her to return to Paris, and on July 26th, 1895, they had a civil wedding ceremony. And again, Marie's practicality kind of shines through again at this point, because she refused to wear a wedding dress. What does it say here? She refused to wear a wedding dress. Instead of a bridal gown, she chose a dark blue dress and explained, "I have no dress." This is a direct quote from her. She said, "I have no dress except the one I wear every day. If you are going to be kind enough to give me one, please let it be practical and dark so that I can put it on afterwards to go to the laboratory." And yeah, so again, super, super practical. This woman is all about work. And, you know, we're blessed for it because she made some really incredible advances in science that really we use every single day. But even for her wedding, she wasn't willing to not go to work. Even on her wedding day, she was in the lab working, getting stuff done. And I love it. So they get married, and a very small, teeny tiny, very intimate wedding. They get married, and they go right to the lab. The same day they go right back to the lab. Now they did have a honeymoon, and they spent their honeymoon taking a bike tour around the French countryside. And again, she wasn't incapable of not working, but it really was her goal. It was what she enjoyed doing. It was where she wanted to be. Now, after their honeymoon, in quick succession, they had 2 children. They ended up having 2 daughters, Irene and Eve, I believe. Yeah, Irene and Eve. And her children were absolutely just as amazing as she was. Truly, truly gifted children as well. I believe that Irene and her husband, I believe it was Irene and her husband went on to make significant advances in scientific fields as well, and as many Nobel Prizes as Marie won. She kind of like started the ball rolling, and they ended up creating the Curie family. What's the word? We're gonna get to it in just a second. The Curie family legacy. So they had their 2 daughters. Irene went on to marry a pretty well-known scientific man, and continued working in the scientific fields. And she was the first woman So Marie was the first woman to ever win a Nobel Prize. Not only was she the first woman to ever win a Nobel Prize, but she was the first woman to ever win more than one. I believe Madame Curie won 2 Nobel Prizes in her lifetime. And not only did she win 2 Nobel Prizes, but she won them in different scientific fields. So not only was she an expert in her chosen field, but she had more than one that she was just absolutely the pioneer of. And I want to list off a couple of her accomplishments, because there are so many. She was the only woman to win in 2 scientific fields. Her and Pierre were the first couple to ever win, as a married couple. They were the first ever married couple to win the Nobel Prize. They launched the Curie family legacy of 5 Nobel Prizes. So Marie and Pierre, they both together won 1, and then Marie won 1 on her own. And then after that, subsequently, her line, her daughters and her granddaughters ended up winning a total of 5 Nobel Prizes. Could you imagine one family? I mean, you don't even have to imagine it because it's real. But like, one family is responsible for winning 5 Nobel Prizes. Can you imagine the prestige and the pride that, you know, their lineage probably walks around with? I mean, it's astounding. It truly, really very is just absolutely incredible. And she was the first woman to become a professor at the University of Paris. So, you know, when one door closes, another one opens. And she may have been denied Caracau? She might have been denied, but she found a professorship somewhere else, and it was even better. They just had a great marriage. Her and Pierre, there's a lot of literature, but I don't really want to bore you guys with a ton of the scientific-y kind of details, but they were just so incredibly important to the advancement of medicine and science in general. Just truly astounding minds. Sadly, Pierre died in 1906. He died due to in a Paris street accident, and Marie was absolutely devastated, as anyone would be. She took it really difficultly. She took it really hard, but she continued to. She ended up publishing books for him and about her husband, and she really just dedicated herself to keeping his memory alive, and continued their work, because again, it's all about the science. It was always all about the science, and though his death hurt her very much, she let it drive her. She let it drive her to work even harder and to be even better than she was before. And she taught her daughters. That being smart was super important. Now, Marie was, like I said, her plan had always been to return back to Poland and work there. She very much loved her home country. She ended up spending quite a bit of her life in France, but she never forgot about Poland. And when her daughters were old enough, she very frequently took them on long trips to Poland. Because that was their home in her mind. That was their home as well. Now Marie Curie is also responsible for discovering 2 scientific elements or chemical elements. What does it say here? She took her children on trips to Poland frequently, and even named the first chemical element she ever discovered after her home country, and she named it polonium, which I thought was so patriotic, right? Like, so fun. I love it. So she was responsible for discovering polonium and radium, I believe it was. Radium, using techniques she invented. So, like I said, she truly was just such a remarkable woman. I have so much respect for her. And if you've ever watched, what is that show with Sheldon and Penny? Oh my goodness. Anyway, I know you know what I'm talking about. Let me know in the comments below. I'm so brain dead right now. I literally can't think about it. What was it? It's going to kill me. Anyway, they always talk about Madame Curie and how, you know, amazing and important she was. And now I really, truly understand that she was not just like a blimp on the scientific radar. Like she was the scientific radar. She invented the scientific radar. She really was just, oh my goodness gracious. So, she named the first element she ever discovered polonium, and under her direction, the world's first studies were conducted into the treatment of neoplasms by use of radioactive isotopes. I have no idea what any of that means. All I know is it's important, and she figured it out. She founded the Curie Institute in Paris in 1920, and she also founded the Curie Institute in Warsaw in 1932, both of which remain major medical research centers. During World War I, even during World War I, she found a way to be so incredibly important. During the war, she found a way to develop technology to help provide x-rays in the field for the troops. She developed mobile radiography units to provide x-ray services to field hospitals. Y'all, like, this woman single-handedly probably saved so many lives. Can you imagine, like, if you can diagnose a broken bone or diagnose exactly where it is so you can splint it better to, like, just really, really amazing. She has been like single-handedly responsible for so many scientific discoveries and advancements. It's mind-boggling to me. Okay, so sadly, we are at the end of the story. Marie Curie, Madame Curie, she died in 1934 at the age of 66. Now, she's still, by today's standards, that's not very old. But she had a good life. She had a pretty long life. She definitely accomplished quite a bit in the time that she was here. She died at the age of 66 in France of aplastic anemia, and this was due to her work. This was from exposure to radiation in the course of her scientific research. Y'all, I was reading. I was researching, and I found that she had left her workbooks and some of her work notes to her daughter, and her daughter had put them away for safekeeping, and then ended up eventually donating them to a museum. Now, they had the documents tested, the notebooks tested, and, you know, of course, they run tests and everything, authenticate, all that good stuff, when accepting it to the museum. And there was still so much radiation on even just the paper. The paper still held so much radiation that they actually had to, like, put it away and, like, decontaminate it. And I think it took something like 3 years. I'm not sure on the timeline of that, but I do know that they still contained a dangerous amount of radiation. And radiation is not one of those things that you can just kind of play around with. Like, that's serious stuff. So can you imagine the amount of radiation that she probably experienced on a daily basis doing the work that she did? It amazes me that she ended up, you know, having as long of a life as she did in the first place, knowing the amount of exposure that she probably had. It is mind-boggling to me. So, yeah, so she died at 66, had a very, very full, incredibly successful life. And in addition to both of her Nobel Prizes, in 1995, she became the first woman entombed on her own merits in the Paris Pantheon. And then in 2011, Poland declared it the year of Marie Curie during the International Year of Chemistry. Guys, just wow. This woman was so incredibly amazing. That's why one of the biggest reasons I love doing these videos, because you get to see the softer side of someone, right? You get to see the love. You get to see kind of a little peek into who they were as a person on the inside. But then also you get to learn about their accomplishments, and you get to learn about just what they were able to contribute to the world. And I really think that Miss Curie really left her mark on the world. I think that what she gave to the world is again, enduring. We still use much of what she invented to this day. She's really just extraordinary. Her children were extraordinary, and her grandchildren were extraordinary still. She truly was a scientific genius. I think that she was a gift, and we are very, very lucky to have had her at all. So, guys, that was today's video. This is what the look looks like so far. I'm going to add a little bit of blue liner. I'm going to use my NYX Epic Wear Liner Stick in the shade Blue Trip. I'm just going to do a little bit of a blue liner, add some mascara. We're going to be good to go. I will, of course, post finished pictures over on Instagram and Facebook. I will have all the links down below. If you guys are not following me everywhere, you definitely should go do that. I post fun content every single day, and if you're following me everywhere, you don't have to worry about missing a single moment of it. As always, I will list everything that I used for today's video in the description box below, and no filters, no edits, no fancy lighting. It's just me sitting in front of my camera, playing with some makeup, telling you guys a love story, hoping you guys are enjoying what I'm doing. And until next time, stay safe, take care of yourselves, and remember, you're important. Bye.